Dog moms, and what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? Dog moms.
Welcome to the Dog Moms, where we have no idea what we're going to talk about, but we're going to talk about dogs.
That's right. We are so excited because we are two passionate dog moms and dog trainers.
That's right.
I'm Chrissy Joy.
I'm Amber Aquart.
And we have collectively quite a few animals between the both of us.
That's right. Here's Oakley, our senior citizen.
And then the youngster who's going to be just over a year. So this is one of his first show experiences.
Oh,
so it'll be
he's
fun.
doing such a good job.
Yeah.
Now on this show, we have a really cool thing because we have the roulette.
That's right.
We don't know what we're going to talk about, but I get to click this special button. We have 4 topics that we get to talk about for 4 minutes only.
That's right. Now we've had no scripting. We have not been shown these topics, and we're going to just give you some information that hopefully helps you at home, but maybe some deeper stories that come from our own personal experiences.
That's right. And after we spin the wheel, we get to answer some of your questions, and each of us will take a minute to answer your questions, and you guys can also send us your questions so we can answer them on the next episode.
That's right. Should we get started?
Let's do it.
Okay, power of the button. Let's do it. Let's see what we're gonna get this time.
Dog fashion?
Oh, dog fashion.
Did you know that they
gear.
actually have, okay, we can get into gear, but did you know they actually have like dog fashion shows?
Yes, they actually have one that mimics the Met every year.
Yeah, they have like actual
With Anthony Rubio, I
Yes,
believe, does it,
yes.
and he takes the celebrities' dresses, and then like a week later does his own that actually mimics the gowns of the celebrities that wore.
It's like an actual thing that happens.
Like these dogs have like trains of fabric, and it's just.
It's a whole
unlike
extra
anything else.
hobby. It's not my hobby, but I admire it, the craft that goes into it, and the dogs that are so patient and are happy to wear the clothes.
Do you have any fashion for your dogs? When you think fashion?
I do not.
Right.
Well, I do like to pick color schemes for
Sure,
my dogs, which
that's
is
right.
kind of fun. But I think gear is like kind of where my brain goes to, and I'm like really practical. As you can see, I just kind of like do the same old,
Minimalistic.
same stuff.
Sure.
His leash is like the tattered and torn leash, which is so funny. And my husband's always like,
memories.
why don't you get another leash? I'm like, well, this is his leash, you know?
This is his leash, right? It
Up,
still
it's
works.
got knots in it, but that's his leash. And so I used to like collect a bunch of bandanas and harnesses and collars, and I never actually like put them on my dog.
Never use it. I have a whole like 2 drawers that are meant for like the guests that come to my house.
Yep.
Full of collars, leashes, and bandanas, and frankly, I don't use them.
I know.
It's really kind of. So what I did is I donated them because
Oh,
if
that's
I'm not going to
nice.
use them, then I'm sure somebody else will enjoy it.
I'm always like, maybe a future dog will wear
Yeah,
it.
but I will say gear, that's something that we can definitely, chime in on. One thing that I like to use, especially for certain things that we do for at least our live shows, is boots and having different types of boots for the dogs to wear. And that can be great for your dog in the winter or your senior dog if they're slowing down and they get slippery on some surfaces. Boots can really offer some traction and protection.
Yeah.
But otherwise for gear, we both like to go hiking.
That's right. I'm going to show off some of Oakley's gear because I think it's kind of cool.
Oh, I know. And I really
So-
like the tag here.
I know.
Explain
All
how
right,
that
so
works.
I've actually, it's covered in dog hair.
As it should be.
But this is a biothane collar, and I'm really obsessed with biothane when it comes to just like practical use because it's waterproof, it's stink proof, and it's so easy to wash off. And like hair doesn't stick to the biothane. It's stuck in the little,
Sure.
buckle, but I can pull that out. And I've got like a silicone tag because I'm like really weird about stuff. I don't like hearing the dog's collar. I don't like any of that.
yes.
So this is like a silent collar, which is great. And this is a really cool gadget that I've got right here. I've tried a lot of dog GPSs, but you kind of need subscription fees for every single one of them. And so this is actually an ear tag
Oh, I love
inside
that.
of this little silicone thing, and it's waterproof. And so I just got like, this is my go-to gear. I have harnesses, I have other stuff too, but when it comes to like everyday use, we just use this every day. It's waterproof. I could throw this in the water.
That's nice.
And it's awesome.
That's really convenient too. And
we're still
honestly,
like that.
and that's what people deal with is like you lose it or it gets tattered or things like that or
Yeah.
it's clinking around. Like they have what today if they created gear for dogs that is just like mind blowing all the way down to, we have things that offer eye and ear protection for your dogs. I know that one time we were like at a racetrack and so I actually bought like this ear protection for your
Yep,
dog.
I've seen those.
So you can be really thoughtful. When you have July 4th coming and things like that, or you think of events where there could be things that are going to be loud, or if your dog's afraid of thunderstorms and there's possible things you could take. There's so much gear made today that's also help your dog get through some of these harder moments.
Yeah, I think gear, there's such a huge thing, and I love harnesses. We use lots of different kind of harnesses, but I wanted to ask you, like, if you could only choose one piece of dog gear that you, like, could only keep one piece of dog gear, Obviously, besides like your classic collar and leash. But
Really?
like,
Okay,
especially
okay.
like dog gear. You had to get rid of everything else. What would you keep?
That is a really tough one. But could it be like gear that goes on us or just goes on the dog?
I'll let you, for you.
Okay, so there's two things. Like if it's gonna go on me, it's definitely gonna be some sort of treat pouch that carries all the things. I love Stylish Hound because they have like lots of compartments, and I just love the size. It's perfect. It's not too bulky. I don't like those big package ones. They're too big. But also, I think for the dog, ooh, that's a tough one. I really love the leash that slips over their head, but then I can also carry with my hand.
Yep.
So that's a nice short one to have when we hike, because sometimes I hike off leash, and then they're like, Chrissy, your dog's supposed to be on a leash, and I pull it over his neck. He is on a leash, so it kind of gets me out of those pickles.
That's cheating.
Yes.
That's a really cool piece of gear.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think we are ready for our next topic.
All right, let's see.
Here we go. Gear is an endless conversation. Oh, what's in our dog bags? All right.
All right.
And we don't mean your leftover food here, guys. I'm assuming, right?
Oh, yeah. I can get some to
Your little
eat.
dog bag.
I have 2 dog bags, but it's kind of funny. We were laughing because we both had like a diaper bag.
It's a diaper bag.
We had a diaper bag recycled and used for our dog bags because there's so many pockets and stuff.
Honestly, like, come on, pet industry. Because you get all these dog bags, but like, dude, the diaper bags, like, they know what's up.
They do.
They have insulated sections. They're doing your taxes.
There's like pockets. I know, right? There's so many pockets in the bag itself that like I lose what's in my bag. But that's not, we're talking about the bag itself.
Yeah.
What's in the bag? Okay, so I have 2 bags right now. I've got like a bag that's designated for treats and leashes and collars. That's like specifically for when we're going to a job and I want to have all the options for that job.
Sure.
But in my classic go-to dog bag, like if I'm going to agility practice and I just leave this bag in my car,
right?
like we should open it. But I always have a tug toy.
Yep.
I always have, which is not very common, but for my dog Whiskey, she's really food motivated. And when we're training, I like to have different ways to reward her. So I've got a toy that like you open up and you put a treat inside of. Yeah. We call them lotus balls. They're really cool. You guys should check them out online. So I have one of those. I also have a Frisbee and I have a soft Frisbee. And of course I've got lots of different treat options. I've got a clicker, poop bags, water bottle with a bowl attached to it. And I typically, I'm trying to think what else I have in there. I've got a lot of stuff in there, but and a retractable leash. And I know that I love having a retractable leash because if we need a quick potty break, I let them off leash.
It's so true. I want to touch base on that because like there's so much hate against them.
I love them.
But if you're using them improperly
if you use it right,
then sure. But like I have just reinvented my life with the retractable leash. I'm like, oh my gosh, like go, and I don't have to go with you. It's great.
No, as long as you like can safely use it.
Yeah, I'm not having them like trip kids up in the park. Like, come on, let's be real.
So what's inside of your dog bag right
now?
So
very similar. I love doing all those things. I do have things that like in a pinch, do I have the squeaker? Do I have the toy? Do I have the thing? And my whole point is like focus. So I have all those items. I try not to keep, if the dog bag is staying in the car, I try not to leave food in it because I'm worried those treats will spoil in your hot car. So if you do have a dog bag with you,
pay attention to what
just pay attention to what you're leaving in there. I have left some cheese sticks in there.
Oh, gross.
No, they have not done well. But honestly, for myself, I make sure I have all my medicines that I need and like my whole pharmacy because we get migraines, if you can relate to that.
Got my medicine in.
Oh my gosh. Poop bags, because I'm the worst at remembering how to have my poop bags.
Yeah.
But it's very similar.
Oh, I have wipes.
I was going to say.
That's the thing I forgot. I always have wipes. You never
Yes.
know the mess you're going to run into.
Cat wipes are great. And maybe a little bit of first aid stuff in there, like a styptic powder in case there's bleeding. Just little odds and ends that you'd really have to dig to the bottom to discover. But it really is like a Mary Poppins bag. I could probably pull out like a lamp at some point.
That's where the diaper bag comes
I know,
really
that diaper bag. It's so true. And one thing that I like about those, is about having that with you and ready to go is that like, so let's say you're in a pinch, you jump in the car with your dog. It's not just a first aid kit, but it does kind of have the essentials that you need so you can go out and have an adventure.
Scrambling, I forgot something.
You're not scrambling, and let it have some backup stuff for you too. If I get caught with a migraine somewhere and I didn't pack whatever appropriately on my end, I can always lean on that kind of emergency bag for both me and my dog.
That's absolutely right. I think poop bags, never have enough poop bags.
Yeah. Well, the problem with me is I never have one. So I'm always trying to pick up dog poop and I never have one. I have found some really creative ways to pick up poop without poop bags.
Oh gosh, I put rolls in literally everything.
I've like chopsticked it with sticks before just to like Get it
like
off the trail.
The leaf method. The rocks, the sticks,
Yes,
all of the
it's
above.
so true.
Oh my gosh. I think everybody ends up having a dog bag,
Yes.
and it's funny because like we just use like diaper bags because our dogs are like our
Check
kids.
them out.
Yeah.
Someone's going to coin that and then
I
make
know.
millions.
The one I
Give
got's
me-
like
Send me a
$40
check.
on
Send me a
Amazon.
check when you do that.
Yeah, please.
All right.
Sponsor
we're
me.
ready for our next topic.
All right.
Dog bags can be really heavy. Like they can be, mine
why
ends
I
up
like
being
the
like
diaper
30
bag.
pounds though. Mine gets heavy after a while.
Oh my goodness.
Creating a safe
Yeah,
space.
this is really important, and that you know what, the adoption show is like near and dear to my heart. And one of the things we talked about on the adoption show, with so many experts, is creating that space if you can before you bring the dog home. And I think that's so important because anyone who's thinking of bringing a dog home, a lot of times you find out, oh, the wires, oh, there's so many variables that can go wrong, and so making sure before you bring a dog home, if you can make it safe,
Right.
is really important. But everywhere you go, you kind of have to do that
It's
too.
true. I wonder if like, does it work the same for adoption? You know, I know when puppies come home from a breeder, you can use like a similar scented thing from the mom and the litter and put it, not really the same when you're talking about a shelter. They're like,
You
please
don't
get
really
me
want-
out of here.
The dog doesn't really want to smell the shelter.
Please don't bring me back to
I
that
have seen
place.
people who foster dogs, and the dog has developed a really close relationship with their
Yeah.
foster home. They like give the new home like a blanket that smells like their old
That's-
home.
yeah.
And that can help them with the
That's
transition.
nice.
But
or something that smells like you and get used to your scent.
Yeah.
I love crates. But that's, you know, it's a really misunderstood thing for most pet parents that think of a crate.
Yep.
They think of that's a place the dog goes when it's been naughty.
punishment.
That is the boundaries needed when we are having a problem with this dog. And you don't want the crate to feel like it is an area of punishment.
Right.
You want it to be where the dog is like really happy and knows that this is like the place I can just chill out. When you find that TV show at night and you jump on that couch and you got your drinking
Yeah.
hat, whatever it is that you're doing, you know that's your safe space. No one's bothering
Yeah.
you. It should be the same for a
That's so
dog.
true. And you know, not all dogs find crates relaxing, but you can work on that, and that can be something that you like progress towards. I know a lot of clients and friends' dogs are afraid of the crate, but you don't have to necessarily use a crate if the closed-in space is kind of scary for your dog. You can just designate a spot for your dog, whether that be with gates, with beds, and making sure that that space is their own space. And I know now as a parent to a child, it's really important that when my dog is in their safe space, that we don't let the kids approach them in that space. Like that
That's
is
so
their spot
true.
that they have to be, you know, left alone, take a nap, have their bones, have their treats, their chews, all those things. And it's really helpful when your dog has anxiety later on,
Right.
to be able to have that space
know
where
where
your
to
dog is
go.
already feeling safe.
And they just know there's not going to be anything that encroaches or like gets in the way of that. And honestly, like I know for one of my dogs that after he has exercise, you know, he needs downtime. And so if he can't find it around the house, because we have 5 dogs, a kid, like it's a smaller home, you know, I'll put him in his crate and he's like, oh my gosh, thank you. You can
Yep.
see it because he's like, and then he passes out. It's like a child.
Yeah.
And that goes the same for puppies. You know, if they're like rambunctious, but you can tell like, oh, they haven't had a nap in a little while. And they're just now getting cuckoo nuts. I bet you if you give them a little bit of that safe space time, they'll usually pass out.
Yeah, and I think that's that's where a crate can be really handy because you can get crates that you can move around places. Like right now, Whiskey's sleeping in her crate and she's happy there. That's
Right.
her spot. And I think it's just really important that wherever you are going to go with your dog, whether you're traveling or anything like that, that you do designate a safe spot for your dog. And you can even do that out and about. I know a lot of times when people go to restaurants or they go out places, you can bring your dog's mat that they're very comfortable with.
Right,
It doesn't
something
have to
similar.
be, it doesn't have to be a cage. It
Sure,
could be
no.
a mat
Something
on the floor.
familiar.
This is your dog's safe zone, that when they're there, you're going to give them their space. You're going to make it a positive experience for
Yeah.
them. And also, it's really great to have something you can take with you places. So when they go new places, they're like, oh, that's my familiar
This
bed.
is familiar, and we do that because we bring crates, the little pop-up crates, with us when we go
Yep.
places too. You know, another thing is like a safe space. We think of crates, but also think about when you first bring home your adopted dog, or if you have a younger puppy. A safe space can be just gating off a kitchen.
Yep.
Like that is creating a space that's going to keep your pet from getting in and maybe chewing up the house or whatever it is. You need to have some division between your pets at home, or somewhere you can really supervise your pet. So think about creating a safe space, not just in a smaller area, but just creating an area in your home that they can be safe.
Yeah, we could talk about this
That's a
forever, but I
great
think
one.
that's our time.
It is our time. We have one more
One
to
more?
go.
Right.
This is the final round.
It's a final
countdown.
navigating
Oh.
my dog
Oh, yeah.
households.
Speaking
All
of
right.
safe space.
Well, how many dogs do you have now?
5.
5 dogs.
I do. And they're all different ages, some different breeds, different energy levels, different thresholds.
Yep.
It's a lot to have a multi-dog household. And I don't want to live the household where I have to crate and rotate. I don't want to have to live the household where, dog A gets to come out after dog B gets to come out. And I don't want to have to do that. So I do have 5 that are able to commingle, but with that comes a lot of management.
Yeah.
And that also includes, gauging their energy level and creating that safe space. Beasley's older; he's almost 11 this year. I don't want him in the mix with the border collies when they're wrestling, and he doesn't want to be in that mix.
Get me out.
He's like, get me out of here. So him having a gate that he can go through that allows him to be in the quiet zone, as I like to call it, and then they can be crazy and rambunctious. So it is a lot of management, but if you're willing to do it to find what balance is best for the dogs, it can really be kind of a nice kind of world.
I've never had more than 4 dogs at once living with me, but I have boarded and trained dogs, and I've had dogs stay with me. At the moment, I have 2 dogs.
That's almost harder, though.
It is harder because you have to navigate dogs that don't typically live with you, right?
Yes.
And so I think it's really important, especially if you're considering bringing a new dog into the house, to consider all the personalities you have, the age differences. Yep. And I know when I had my dogs Tucker and Oakley, I wanted to get a new puppy and bring in a 3rd dog, but I had to make sure that that dog's personality was going to mesh with my current dogs. And that was something that was tricky because my oldest dog was kind of a little bit not always the friendliest with every single dog.
Which is really tricky.
That was a very tricky thing to navigate. And so it was really important to set up really early on a lot of management.
Right.
And that was really important before I let them be just living together. And they ended up being great cohabitating, but I had to introduce them slowly. And so I didn't allow the puppy to have this cute reunion we see online of or this cute meeting where it's here's the puppy and just throw them the puppy in the box. So I had set up a lot of gates and let them interact with each other through gates, on leashes, and I never let them have that let's just see what happens, because I wanted to set them up for success.
Yeah, and it's true because, when you think about them getting along, but then you also have to meet their energy requirements. You have to meet the proper feeding of all these animals, and, everyone's different. I'm very blessed. I can have them all in the same room, just spaced out, eating their meals. They actually know to wait for each other to finish before they switch, which is mind-blowing. I don't know. They have some sort of kind of Jedi mastermind on each other, which is great. But another thing is that and some people don't have that. You have to be really you may have to crate your dog or give them their safe space when they eat. They're not all going to react the same. If one dog goes, oh, is there a piece over there for me?
Yep. I mean, with Whiskey, she's like a food crazy hound, and he doesn't like to eat, and that's something that
she's like, hey, you gonna finish
tricky.
that?
And if I didn't have a crate set up, that would be a nightmare, right? So they are used to going into their spaces, eating their foods, and so we have navigated that really, really well. But having multiple dogs is a blessing, but also it's a lot of work. And
it
so
is a
if
lot
anybody
of work.
wants to have more than just one dog, you have to be prepared for that.
You do.
And not only navigating all of the dogs together, but making sure the dogs get time one-on-one with you.
That's important because I really feel that's something that I need to work on more for myself, as I realize is that, man, if I have to leave a couple dogs home, it's always a couple dogs home. Beasley's the only one that's super cool, y'all can leave. I'm good.
I'm gonna take a nap.
But if I left one of my younger dogs home alone, I haven't done that enough to know how they would be by themselves. And it may not be such a smooth sail because they've always been with each other, frankly. So, and also energy, as your dogs get older, they're gonna have different needs. And so, for example, my older dog needs walks on his own while the other 4 need to do high energy. So it does sort of change as they get older.
Yeah, it's so true. I did not know he had separation anxiety until I got another dog and started leaving him alone.
Wow.
And it was something we had to work through.
And you learn a lot.
Yeah.
Wow, 4 topics. We buzzed through those topics, but that was a lot of great information.
Absolutely.
I loved it.
I like this episode, but we get to answer your questions.
This is my favorite part because I love to hear from you guys what is buzzing on your mind for us to answer here on the show. So we both get 2 questions. We each get a chance to answer, but we only get 1 minute each to answer those questions. So I'm going to kick off first since you got a very cozy puppy on your lap. All right, this is Carlos from Tampa, Florida. Are dog clothes just cute, or do they really serve a purpose? And when do you use them? All right. Well, we did just talk a little bit about fashion. You want to kick it off?
Yeah, that was a great question. Okay, Oakley's like, I'm out. That's totally fine. You take your nap. I think that dog clothes can serve a purpose, especially depending on your dog. So Oakley here, for instance, even though he just stepped out, he gets really cold really easily.
Interesting.
But my dog Whiskey gets really hot really easily, right? And so what's cool is that there's so many companies out there that have made things to help your dog feel warmer, to help them recover from things.
Yeah.
They also even have like cooling gear for
Yes.
dogs. So just because you see a dog wearing clothes doesn't mean it's just clothes.
That's
Sometimes
right.
it can actually serve a really important purpose.
That's right.
I have these really cool scarves for my dogs that you like put in water and it like keeps them cool.
That's awesome.
So on the hot summer days,
Yeah.
it really helps them.
And it sounds
have
like it
longer.
works against it, but the evaporation plays a big role in that.
It makes a huge difference. And like you mentioned earlier, the boots.
Yeah, boots for sure. You know, one thing that you can pay attention to with clothing is that sometimes dogs after surgeries need to have that area protected so they can't lick it, they can't get into it, doesn't get wet, doesn't get dirty. So there is certain types of gear and clothing that dogs wear that's actually protecting them. Sun shirts for dogs with really sensitive skin and pigmentation, and all the way to certain types of clothes, I guess you'd call them. But yeah, they actually help, you know, if a dog has a toe injury and has to wear like a sock with a boot, there can be a lot of purpose behind it, but there can also be a lot of it's just dang cute.
And sometimes it's just fun to put your dog in clothes as long as your dog is comfortable with it. All right,
Exactly.
let's answer another question.
Let's do it.
Okay. Alyssa from Los Angeles says, what's your go-to routine when traveling with your dog for a weekend getaway?
Okay, go-to routine,
Your
and I've got
go-to
1 minute.
routine when
Ooh.
traveling for a weekend getaway.
Okay, so
Wait, before you answer, do you take
Routine?
all 5 of your dogs on a
do.
vacation?
I do. Like my mind went to like, okay, all 5 dogs.
5, what's your routine?
Yeah, is first find an Airbnb that takes all 5.
Yep.
No, for real, the routine, I mean, that's a really tough one, but you know, I think for me, the first thing is we always kind of have the, like, not packing wise, let's pretend we're already packed. We always have an area where the dogs can burn their energy out. We always have a plan for where are we gonna go so we can get some good energy out for the dogs? Is it gonna be too hot for them? Is this gonna be appropriate for them? Should we bring all 5 dogs on this weekend outing? Because sometimes we don't and we're able to only bring 1 or 2, but it's really about keeping them in mind, because if you're selfish in a way that you don't keep them in mind, they could really take the brunt of it if it is not a good climate and a location or a dog-friendly space.
Right.
It could stop you from going into some of these places that you want to go in because it frankly isn't dog-friendly, and that's a whole other topic.
Yeah. Wow, you like nailed it. I think one thing, whenever we're gonna be traveling, we do usually bring both dogs, is I make sure that I plan for enough time for potty time and a little bit of exercise, or if I don't have time for exercise that day, I'll make sure the day before we get some good running time.
Yes.
So the dogs get out. And you know, sometimes when we bring them on a weekend getaway, it's not a trip that's like a dog-centric trip. Sometimes it's not. So having an Airbnb where maybe we plan to have a yard or something that the dogs can get out and
Yes.
about. And then also making sure that I plan the whole weekend where I do have times to go home and take care of my dogs, that they're either, if they're not coming with us, or they make sure they get out at certain points throughout the day. It's really important that I focus on keeping their energy at a
That's right.
reasonable
Satisfying their
level.
needs so you can go and relax and enjoy your
Yeah,
vacation.
because you know, I love bringing my dogs everywhere, but sometimes they aren't coming on every single adventure. So if they're gonna be coming on the getaway, making sure we prep their energy, getting them
That's
calm
right.
and
That's right.
Yeah.
Those were great questions, guys. We would love to hear more from you. You can go to dogtv.com/dogmoms and you can submit your questions because we might answer them on the next episode. Feel free to tell me what's buzzing on your mind.
Yeah, ask us anything.
Exactly. This was so much fun. We had such a great time with you, and we can't wait to see you guys on the next episode. I'm Chrissy Joy.
I'm Amber Aquart. Thanks
And
for joining.
This is the Dog Moms.
The
We'll
Dog
see you next time.
Moms.
Bye. Bye, Journey.
Dog moms, and what you gonna do? What you gonna